Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Hey, Las Brisas, you looking for one of the finest restaurants in this parts of the world. It's at Las Brisas, out at the Falls on 114th Street. And I'm telling you, just first class all the way. Delicious food. They got little rooms you can get into, plus it's a big restaurant, and they will take great care of you. Great atmosphere and great food. You can't beat that. And that's what you'll find at Las Brisas. So be sure and schedule your next deal out there. Or, hey, Valentine's is coming up. It's a great place for Valentine's dinner, I will tell you that, to go to Las Brisas. And what day is it? It's tomorrow's 11th, 12th, Wednesday night. You could go to Las Brisas.
Hey, you gonna make it over?
All right. We're trying. We're working to get Frank Anderson on the show. But we were talking about those Super Bowl commercials. $7 million is what the cost is for the spot. That's only the beginning. I'm reading this other thing. It says that these sponsors spend anywhere from $15 million to $50 million for a single Super Bowl commercial, with $10 to $15 million spent on talent alone. Some of these guys get $10 million to do that spot.
Well, Usher was on one, and I'm sure he's not cheap.
Yeah. Well, Larry David.
But speaking of cheap,
who is cheap?
we've got Frank Anderson.
No way. He's not cheap. Is he cheap?
On the
Frank,
phone.
what are you doing?
Right
Where you
this
been? I hadn't seen you in a long time.
Hey, I've been ducking and dodging as usual. Hey, but no, I was trying to do the Zoom deal, and I told Gary, I go, hey, he goes, can you Zoom? I go, I was pretty fast when I was younger, but hey, without somebody sending me a link where I can just press it, I'm not too good with that. But anyway, no, it's good. It's good to talk to you guys.
Oh, without a doubt. And I'm not going to make it to Dallas, but you were probably looking forward to having dinner with me, because I was looking forward to having dinner with you. But
absolutely,
it doesn't look like it's going to work out. You never say never, but probably not going to make it. But reason we want to have you on, one thing, we get to missing you from time to time, and the other one was our first game of the year, our being Texas Tech, and yours being Tennessee. Is that y'all's first game of the year, I'm assuming?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Is against y'all, and
Are y'all afraid?
Hey, you know what? I was telling Matt Gardner, I said, I read all this stuff on D1 Baseball about you guys. I go, we might as well just forfeit. and hey, because he started laughing. I go, hey, because I saw our report, and there's like 3 guys that they said were going to pitch on there that I go, well, they must have got a lot better over Christmas, because I don't even know if those guys are ever going to hit the field.
and they had them as your main guys?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're really highly, you know how that is.
Yeah.
Highly touted prospects, and hey, sometimes it takes a while, right? So.
Yeah. And sometimes it doesn't happen at all.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, how many 5-star football and basketball guys, didn't turn out to be 5-star guys? A lot.
Well, they're usually at other schools, so we get to watch them from afar.
Yeah.
But
we got a 5-star coming, though, finally.
Yeah, we do.
I think I read that. I did.
A receiver. Yeah.
It'd be fun to try it with a bunch of 5-stars like
I know what that'd be like. Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, y'all's baseball recruiting classes, I mean, it's probably top 5, top 10?
Gary, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to that. I think Josh Elander's our recruiting coordinator. He does a really good job. He's younger than Brett, which makes me feel real old. And no, he does a good job. And like I said, some of that. How does anybody know? Especially baseball. I mean, you don't have as much. I don't know. I don't know that it's tried true. So yeah, I think we got some supposedly on paper talented kids, but you know how that works.
Well, I was at a lunch Thursday with Wes Kitley was talking, and they're getting kids from other countries. He said, I used to go over to those other countries, but now I've got people over there. He said because the stopwatch doesn't lie, the tape measure doesn't lie. In baseball, it's not quite that easy. In track, a guy, if he can jump 7 foot, he's probably a pretty good high jumper.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
In baseball, you just not ever positive that it'll translate to the next level. But
No, when I was at Texas, Eddie Reese was our swim coach there, and that guy's won I don't know how many national championships. And we talked to him one day, and he goes, same thing. He goes, hey, I can stand on the edge of that pool and start that watch and tell whether the guy's pretty good or not. He goes, you got to figure out a little different deal. And I go, yeah, you're right. It is different.
Well, apparently y'all figured it out on a few kids because y'all are in the top 10 in the country in the preseason rankings. So looks like another good year for Tennessee.
Gary, last year I thought we were terrible and we were for like 30 or 40 games. I think we dropped like 15 pop-ups on the infield. And, hey, my wife, she keeps calling. She goes, are you kidding me? Hey, how you dropping them pop-ups? And I go, I don't know. I remember Larry going, ain't too many bad hops in the air. And I go, yeah, exactly. And but, we kind of turned it around. And I think at the end of the day, we'll probably be able to pitch a little bit. I think we can hit a little bit. I'm a little worried about, our defense and stuff like that. I mean, which, I always worry about stuff. But I think we're all right. And I think probably preseason rankings are based off last year's ending. So, it kind of goes off that stuff. But I don't put a whole lot of stock in that stuff. But, it's good for the kids and it's good for social media and all that kind of carrying on.
Well, I think these tournaments like Globe Life and then the one down at Houston and, going to every year, the neat thing about it is Texas Tech can play Tennessee and nobody has to go, clear across the country and, play at the other team's park. And so it's neat to get to play you guys, and we've got to play a lot of teams from around the country. And but do y'all do a lot of this, or is this a big deal for y'all too?
Oh no, it's a great deal. Last 3 years we've gone to Houston, then we did the Major League Baseball one in Phoenix, and that's a little different. I like the one. I like these where I haven't been there, but everybody tells me this is one of the best run deals around, and you get to play, if nothing else, indoors if it's bad weather, and you're going to play, and you play really good opponents, and I think the year when I was at Texas, we won the national championship. I think we got swept in this deal early in the year, and so that could happen very easily because of the quality of teams and stuff that are in this thing.
And y'all came back and won the national championship, Frank, that year?
Yeah, I think we did. I'm not positive, but I think we went to Minute Maid and kind of got beat up, in fact, and then we came back and ended up winning the national championship. And so, yeah, these tournaments will, right now every kid and everybody thinks they're really good and this and that. And this deal will expose you pretty good.
Yeah, it will. All right, y'all, you're the pitching coach, so I know you know the answer to this, but you may not want to share it with us. Who are y'all throwing? Is it Friday night?
Yeah, Friday night. It's one of two kids, and it'll be they threw yesterday, and then Tony will make a decision. It'll be a kid named Russell or a kid named Bean, and that'll be his decision. And both Bean was a USA team guy, and he's back, and then Russell was a freshman last year, and so he'll decide between those two guys, and they're. They're pretty good, and but again, it's always interesting, Gary, the first time you get in a venue like that, and all of a sudden they put those guns up, and
some will pucker up, and some will step up, and you got to wait till Friday night to find out which is which.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Frank, one of the great things you're in charge of talking to the umpires, aren't you? Because you're really good at it.
Hey,
Diplomat.
I went last year without getting thrown out one
No
time.
way.
That was my goal. And, the rules state, first off, assistants can't even get off the bench. You're not supposed to leave the dugout area, and then you're not supposed to say anything. And so, hey, I kind of pick and choose my spots. Hey, one of my favorite ones, I'll go out there, and these guys now know me, and they do a good. Umpire's better than it's ever been. I hate to say that, but it really is because there's a lot more checks and balances than there's ever been. But my favorite one, I'll go out there and say, hey, I just got to tell you, I know you missed 2 pitches on that last guy because my wife texted me and I got it on my watch. and a couple of these guys over here are ex-major leaguers, and a guy will go, "You're kidding me." I go, "Hey, I can show you if you want." And he goes, "Don't make me take your watch off." And I go, "Hey, I'm just telling you, she probably knows strike zone better than all of us out here, and she'll let me know, hey, a guy missed a couple pitches right there. You might want to talk to him about it." Okay, I'll get after him.
Well, I'll tell you what, I might still be coaching had we had instant replay, because you don't have to go up there and rant and rave. You just got to go out there and say, "Hey, I think we might have missed that one, Mr. Umpire,
Exactly.
sir. Why don't we take a look?" And then they get it right.
No,
usually.
I have no problem with it. I mean, like I said, it's made it a lot easier. And the fact that assistants can't talk to umpires, that would have saved me a lot of grief. And but I'm sitting there. As I get older, and I am going to be 65 this week, Gary. By the way,
Hey,
I'm getting old, and I'm going, "Hey, Larry, he and Augie both, they would get on me a little bit, but they didn't mind letting me go up there." And I'm going, "Hey, I think they might have done that on purpose sometimes, just letting me go."
Get Frank out of here.
Hey, there's little doubt that they do it on purpose. We had an umpire on last week that admitted that they would occasionally hose somebody on purpose.
I remember, Frank, you and Sandra, when we'd go to Little League games, and this is probably the reason why y'all would sit way out there in the outfield. So I guess the umpires couldn't hear you.
Oh, well, hey, Brett's first game in high school he ever pitched, the first pitch of the game was split the plate in half, and the umpire called the ball, and Sandra goes, "Don't say a word, let's go." And from that second pitch of his high school career, we sat down by the foul pole. And
let's go.
People thought we were the biggest jerks in the world, but hey, she knew that. Hey, you know what? Probably wouldn't be a good look if I got kicked out in my son's high school game.
It's better for you to sit down there and them think that you're a jerk than you come sit with them and they know for a fact you're a jerk. So
that's exactly right.
So anyway, I think that's very wise of Sandra. Hey, speaking of Sandra and Brett, where's Brett? What's the latest on Brett?
He hadn't played for the last 2 years. He hadn't told me, that he's not going to continue playing. I think he probably feels better, now than he has for a long time as far as physically. But they moved to they're still in Dallas, but and if you'd like to buy a house in Highland Park, it's still for sale, their old one. But they moved to Fairview,
sell a house.
Fairview, Texas, which is Lovejoy School District, and they really like it. In fact, he called me last night, and he took his little boy over to watch the game and watch a couple high school, watch the high school game against McKinney or somebody, and he really enjoys that. So they got another little girl, and because I always give him bad time. At Highland Park his backyard's about the size of a postage stamp, and they got a nice place where you can play catch with your kid or mess around this and that in the backyard and go to games and different things like that. So he's doing good, and then Sandra, she's over at the lake house most of the time in Granbury, and so she'll. I'll get to see all the kids will be, and everybody will be up there for this Globe Life tournament. That'll be a lot of fun too. But no, they all. I mean, it's fun to watch. I don't know what Brett's going to end up doing, but he's had some opportunities to do different things, and I know there's a lot of people interested in him coaching, which I can't see him doing that because. I always go, Brett, coaching.
Yeah, I didn't even know he could talk.
Well, no, that's exactly.
A couple of years went by there, and he didn't even talk.
It's funny you say that. That's what I thought. He scared everybody to death. That was part of it too. Yeah. He wouldn't talk.
And so I asked Pat Murphy with the Brewers, and he said he goes, well, here's the thing. He goes, hey, when he says something, it's pretty good, and he goes, hey, he'll like, in the big leagues, he goes, hey, relievers would come in and he'd say, hey, here's what's going to happen right here on another team. And he goes, hey, about 89% of the time, that's exactly what would happen. And he goes, he has a good feel for the games. And he goes, pitchers, especially young guys that come up, he goes, hey, you have a bad outing and everybody stays away from them like they stink or something. And he goes, hey, Brett would go over there and go, well, that didn't really suck. Now what are we going to do to get over that deal right there? and or something like, I'm sure it's more colorful than that. But he goes, hey, nobody does that. And he would go, hey, man, what were you thinking? And this and that. And he goes, hey, he's really good in the dugout. I go, well, that makes a little sense then. I could see that. I mean, but he's not going to, it's just, I can't see him out there being really boisterous or anything like that. That's just not him.
Yeah. Well, we've only got about a minute and a half left. I hope if he wants to play, he plays. I don't know how you could quit nowadays with the type of money they throw at you. I'd be just hobbling out there, whatever it took to get out there for what they're paying these guys. So. Oh,
it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It really is, but no, I think after 13 years up there, I mean. And I don't know, countless surgeries and back surgeries and arms and hands and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, up to last year, he's still getting offers. And so I don't know, I would think he's probably done, but, we don't, that's up to him. I know he enjoys those kids a bunch and likes messing with those, his son and him. Like I said, they've gone to a bunch of high school football games and baseball games, and he likes messing around with him. So
hey, Frank, we got 30 seconds. Give us a prediction on Friday night's baseball game.
It's going to be fun, Gary. I always enjoyed because, we know all those guys. Tim played for me. Matt played for me. I've known J-Bob forever. And I tell you what, I know this. They're going to play hard, and hopefully we will. And so it'll be fun to see a bunch of people and like I said, just get out there. You know how it is. This time of year, you get tired of practice.
Yeah. Hey, buddy, good luck the rest of the season from Saturday morning on. We're pulling for you.
Tell everybody hi for me.
All right, Frank.
All right,
Thank you for being on.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
All right, don't forget, I know you don't ever forget about Cardinal Sports Center. I'm telling you, it's a legendary name in Lubbock, Texas, in the sporting goods world, but they've become so much more. Brad White owns it now, and it's like for women, it's like fashion stuff in there. You've been in the slide. It's
absolutely.
amazing
It's
store.
incredible.
All you TV
Incredible.
people, I'm going to show you the golf pants I got just this week at Cardinal Sports Center.
They got
Radio
that?
people,
Just guess. Use your imagination.
Yeah, those are Under Armour. Those are really nice, and
Nice.
they're stretchy, and that's what you can get
Very
right
nice.
there
You
at
have
Cardinal Sports
You have a
Center.
second career coming there,
Yeah,
Gary.
yeah,
The model.
yeah, perfect. All right. Well, David Gaschen is here, and we are so honored to have him
Well,
here.
and he cleared something up during the break because I said earlier in the show I really think David was singing some of these love type songs, and he was staring right at me. I felt uncomfortable. But I really
Kinda
didn't think
creepy.
you could actually see, but you actually were singing to me.
I could say, well, it was to you and not. It was to your lovely wife who was singing along with me.
Oh, she was?
Oh, yeah. She was singing every song. She's like, that's little Davy.
Well,
Does she know she had a shot at you? She didn't know till we just found out today.
She just found it. Yeah, I didn't want to disappoint her or him. He was the star
Gary would
baseball
have been
player.
left out.
He was the stud baseball player and then coach.
You were a singer.
I was the singer who happened to be on the baseball team. I think.
Yeah.
well, that's gonna make for a good story. But that makes me feel a little better that you're looking at my wife, but just not a lot better.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's always been such a beautiful person. She's just beautiful inside and out. So.
And y'all were neighbors growing up.
Yeah, we lived on Norwood Avenue, and they lived right around the corner, right?
Like
just right around the corner,
68th
68th
or something, something like that.
And they had a trampoline.
In
and
Melanie
everybody
Park,
would go and
we're talking
trampoline. Yeah,
about?
Melanie Park.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melanie Park South.
You started out at Cross the King. How many years did you go to Cross the King?
I went from kindergarten through ninth grade.
And so your sophomore year, you went to Monterey.
Sophomore year. Went to
Graduated
Monterey.
in 87.
87. Yeah.
Is this?
Yeah.
You're like legendary. Did you know you were going to be legendary? Do you think? I think I'll be legendary.
I was just hoping to get a job. You just hope to get a job in this business, and I worked real hard, and I had a great upbringing, and I had wonderful teachers at Texas Tech, and had some luck involved, had some some opportunities come up, and I didn't let them pass by, and it worked out.
Maybe a little bit of luck put you in the right place, but once you got to the right place, you're a special guy. I mean, you got. Let me tell you, some people that can sing or dance or something like that. Some of those people don't have a personality, but you've got a personality. You've got a wit. I didn't know if I was at a comedy deal last night or
I get that all the time.
Or a musical deal.
Yeah.
They were both equally as entertaining.
Yeah, that's what everybody. I think it comes from growing up with 7 brothers and sisters, right? Yeah. I had 7 older brothers and sisters: Terry, Julie, Mimi, Kathy, Diane / Lulu, Jack, Paul, and then me.
And Paul was there. Lulu was there.
Mimi
was there. Anybody else there?
Nope. Jack was going to be
Paul.
there, but he was sick.
Did Paul go to Monterey?
Yeah, Paul graduated in '83 from Monterey.
Okay.
And he's a financial guy here in Lubbock. He's
okay.
Gaschen, Berlinger and Associates. Yeah. So he's been doing that. He was with Equitable for a while. And
is that Angel? Angel Berlinger? Yeah. That's good guys.
Oh yeah, Angel's a great guy. He worked for my dad when my dad was the agency manager for Equitable years and years ago. And then he stayed on. Then he and Paul joined forces about probably 2 years ago, maybe 3. And they've been doing great ever since.
You have a house here in Lubbock, or do you live somewhere else?
I don't. I live in Frisco. I live in Frisco,
Okay.
north of Dallas. So I come in here, and luckily I've still have 4 siblings here, so I stay with them. And then now my daughter's a Red Raider.
Yay! Guns up.
Well, one of the highlights of last night's show, David, was we sang "Happy Birthday" to his sisters, but his daughter was there, and he had her stand up, and she was with some of her friends.
Yeah, they're the roommates.
And there's certain parts you go, oh, I'm not. I bet she's a little embarrassed at that, but she probably knows you well enough to not be.
She was just rolling her eyes.
But the very last, was that the last song or the next to the last?
Second to last.
Next to the last song. He sings what he used to sing to her when she's in bed.
Gosh, that makes,
and let me tell you guys, it darn sure would. And I almost did. If I wasn't such a manly man,
I believe people there.
I think I saw a tear. I can still remember. I could see you. I looked down at Gary.
I really didn't know if you could actually see us or not.
Oh yeah, totally.
Okay.
Yeah. But I could only see about the 4th row. But you guys were in the second one right there, and they were right on the aisle.
I heard you and Jim Douglas got something going on.
Oh yeah, Jim
What's
Douglas.
going on there? You were sitting in his lap.
Well, he's he's a sexy man.
Very sexy man.
I mean, do you blame me? Come on. It's Jim Douglas.
He's legendary.
Yeah, he's legendary in his own right. He has been so good to my family, and not just my family, me and my wife and my kids, but all 8 Gashens and my dad. And he's done everything to help that he could, our family. And he always comes to every one of my concerts, every one of them. He sits in the same spot every time with Patty.
Yeah.
And I said, and I didn't tell him, but I said, I'm going to get him. And I said,
so he didn't really request that?
No, I was lying through my teeth.
You surprised me.
Totally, yeah. And I said, I dedicated It Had to Be You to his wife Patty, and I went down in the crowd, and it was perfect because he was on the outside chair and she was on the inside, so I could sit on Jim's lap and sing to Patty, and the audience could still see me.
That's awesome.
Jim's going, "You're killing my legs." It's like, get over it, Douglas. He goes, "Sit on her lap." I said, "I'd kill her."
Sit on her lap.
Yeah.
Sit on her lap.
Sit on Patty's lap. I was like, "No, I don't want to sit on that. I'm close enough, dude."
Yeah.
But he was shocked. She was shocked. And Patty's such a lovely lady.
Yeah.
To see her go, and her face got big, and she was like, "What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do next?"
But then she was the first one to stand up at the end of the song. They were having a blast.
How many does the Cactus hold?
About 400.
That's a good crowd.
Yeah, it's a really good crowd. Yeah.
I was at the Estacado basketball game last night. I thought you'd come sing the national anthem.
I should have.
We'd love to have had you.
I would have done it.
But we didn't have a national anthem.
Oh,
for some reason, I don't know why they were skipping it.
All right, let's play.
Let's play.
Get her done.
Well, if David had been
Super
there,
Bowl's in 2 days. We got it.
I'd love to have been at your
They'd have made
deal
an
last
exception.
night. That sounded like a lot of fun.
One of the greatest Super Bowl. Two of the greatest things that's ever happened to me was I got, as far as tech goes, right? I got to sing the national anthem at the UT Texas Tech game in 2008 with the Crabtree catch.
I remember.
Well, they need to have you back.
Yeah,
How much luckier can you get?
And
than
then
that?
I sang at the UT Texas Tech basketball game when Beard came back. The first one Beard came back.
How about that?
Oh my goodness gracious!
Was that fun?
That was
That's a rowdy crowd.
unbelievable. That was the best energy of anything I've ever been to at Tech.
Yeah.
You know, and my daughter, she was still in high school, and she got to stand on the floor, and she got to meet, you know, Coach Adams, and some of the players were giving her high fives as she was going by.
So
and,
cool.
You know, and you know, my friend Lee Lewis there, he has that courtside.
Oh,
He was
yeah.
waving at me, you know, and you know, I got to wave at him, and I got to, you know, see all these people I knew. It was great. And then, you know, we had seats up a little higher, and we got to watch the game. But I was like, that's a highlight. I could die a happy man. You know,
You get nervous at all?
I get more excited. I think.
I mean, it's a big crowd, 15,000 people.
Yeah.
What's the biggest crowd you've ever played in front of?
Well, the biggest crowd I've ever sung like a performance in front of was about 50,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
That's amazing.
But you know, I sang at the Tech game. There was 70 or 60,000 there, and I sang at a Rangers game once, which was fun. You know, but
Did anybody people ever call you Danny Zuko?
if there is a guy from 1985 to 1987 that was on the Monterey baseball team,
I know.
I am not David Gaschen.
You're Zuko.
I'm Zuko.
And
Yeah.
he referenced Coach Magel last night.
Oh, you did?
And,
Oh, yeah. Coach Magel.
It's amazing how many people knew Coach Magel in that room.
It was. I said, "Does anybody remember Coach Magel?" Everybody goes, "Yeah, we remember." You know. So I did my imitation, and I'm probably going to get.
Well, how did it go?
excommunicated.
I want to see it.
Well, I went in and
Tell the
tried
story.
out. So I went in and, you know, all I wanted to be was growing up watching Gary and the guys play baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, I went with my sisters, and my goal in life was to be a Monterey baseball player. That was it. That was all I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And
It's a good goal.
yeah, it's a good goal if you have any gifts.
You can play.
But yeah, there's some gray area there. So I grew up, went to all the Monterey, you know, Omega baseball camps,
Yeah.
you know, and did everything. And, you know, I ended up befriending Melinda, his youngest daughter, and I were in the same class. And we became really good friends. And I was trying out my sophomore year for baseball. And I basically what I can do is hit a fastball. I can hit a fastball. If there's any spin other than 6 to 12, I'm in big trouble.
Yeah.
But a fastball I can hit, and I always swing at the first pitch.
Yeah,
Always.
and get out of there.
Always. Get out, get my hit, and go. And so I was doing batting practice, trying out for coach, and he brings me over, and this is at the end of the first day of tryouts. He goes, "Gaschen, you're pathetic. You are pathetic." And I go, "Well, thanks, coach." He said, "You can't hit, you can't run, you can't throw. You're pathetic. You're a real triple threat, Gaschen." I go, "Oh, Lord, am I going to have to deal with that for 3 years?" And I did. He would have been on the bench if he wouldn't have let me on. That's the only reason I'm in. It's because of Melinda. But I became a
Melinda got you on the team.
That's it. I'm sure it had to have been Melinda because it sure wasn't from my talent. I think he just
He let you
sure
stay,
enough,
though.
We were so good that we'd be beating these teams 21-2.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you get to play?
I was a pinch hitter.
Yeah.
I pinched hit.
You
He
could
said,
hit.
"No one has any scouting on you, so we're going to use you in the playoffs."
Hit
And
the
I'm
first
like-
pitch. It's probably going to be a
He
fastball.
said, "It's always going to be a fastball. You always swing at the first pitch, and they don't have anything about you because you've only hit 10 times this year." I was like, "Did you have to bring up the only hit 10 times this year, coach?" And but I used to, I got a couple of hits. I hit the chicken in Diablo Stadium.
Oh.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the old Diablo. I don't know if it's still there, but there was a chicken on top, and if you hit it in this hole, you get a free steak or something, or free chicken, I guess. But and I hit the chicken, and David Walden was the assistant coach at the time.
Yeah.
And
Good
he's on
coach.
first base.
Uh-huh.
And I hit it, and it was slow motion. I thought, "Oh man, I just hit a pop up. And I just start running as fast as I can, which was very slow.
Which is very fast.
Very, very slow. And Coach Walden, you see his eyes get big, and he's going like this. I'm going, oh, it went somewhere? So I turned a triple into a double. And I'm on second base, and I look over at Coach Megan, and he's going, unbelievable. And as soon as what I would do is I would pinch it for the guy who was playing, and he'd put the guy right back in to run.
Yeah.
And
I'm running to run for you?
Yeah, I knew it. As soon as they called time, I knew. I just started running back towards the dugout, and the other guy came back out. Yeah. And Coach Mago, I'm running by him. I go, oh, I hit the chicken.
You said that?
He goes, unbelievable, Gaschen. I'll never forget this moment as long as I live. So that was my glory day.
The highlight.
Yeah, the highlight of my career.
That's great.
And we got ponchos after we won, right?
Well, being friends with Melinda might have been a bigger highlight than the chicken.
It still is to this day. We're still friends to this day.
You talk to her
all the time? Yeah.
How about that?
Well, she lives where? Austin?
She lives. Sherry lives in Austin.
Okay.
Melinda
Sherry
lives just south. She lives in New Home.
Okay.
Yeah.
In New Home.
Yeah.
It seemed like I knew that. She's a sweetheart. They
She
both
is.
are. Both their girls
They're
are just amazing.
wonderful girls. Yeah. I sang at both their weddings. I came back. I was in Phantom in Hamburg, Germany, and they flew me back.
Hey, and in Hamburg, Germany, the Phantom is German, and so
you
you
German?
sang German.
Do you really?
I sang it in German. Yeah.
Sing a few bars.
Oh, okay. Let me hack out this lung. So in the beginning of Music of the Night, it's nighttime sharpens, heightens each sensation.
Big league song.
And the beginning in German goes, Nachts erwachen, alle deine Sinne, Träume wachsen, Zweifel halten inne. Yeah.
That's amazing. That's so good.
Well,
David,
I thought at the time when I got hired, I was hired to be in the Swiss company in Basel, Switzerland. And I went and auditioned. I was getting married 6 weeks later. Needless to say, I was an actor working at Schlotzsky's and delivering Schlotzsky's in Chicago with my little Mustang from Texas.
Are you kidding me?
No, I delivered Schlotzsky's.
Pretty interesting life.
I was a bartender at the Hyatt Hotel. I sold subscriptions for the Chicago Lyric Opera. I worked at my church. I sang at weddings. I sang at funerals. Anything just to
make a few bucks.
To live, you know. And my agent calls me and she says, "Hey, we have this audition for Switzerland Phantom." And I go, "Whatever, I'll go." Everybody and their dog is going to be auditioning for. And I went in with that kind of attitude. You know? I got Phantom. I got Phantom alternate, which meant that the Phantom did 6 shows or 7 shows, and I did 1 show a week as Phantom.
Yeah.
And then I was in the ensemble covering all the ensemble parts the rest of the week.
Okay.
Right? So.
In Switzerland.
In Switzerland, in German. And my last class to get out of tech.
Yeah.
I was in the 6-year plan. My last class to get out of tech was German.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about
very
that?
last
Because back then you had to take 2
Yeah.
classes of
I did
a
take
foreign
2 years
language.
of foreign language.
Yeah.
2 years for.
All right, we're going
And
to a break.
I'll be darned if it didn't pay off.
It worked. I said, when am I going to use musical theater in German?
Yeah.
Voila.
The Lord,
Thank
Lord
you, God.
said now.
Yeah, I said, guess what, Dave? Time to spit. Yeah.
Well, it's good that you actually learned the German instead of just
Yeah.
survive
Yeah,
and
yeah,
got,
oh,
got
totally.
through and
Yeah.
take your C minus and go.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's another story.
All right.
Sports talk conversations with a good laugh mixed in. This is the Sports Talk with Thetford and Ashby podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
All right, J&W Services, Lenco Distributors in Midland, Texas. I can't even begin to tell you what this company means to us because they were really instrumental in getting us on down in KCRS 550 AM in Midland, Odessa, and all across the Permian Basin. These are Texas Tech guys, Brett Beck, Scott Blakely, Cade Walton, and just a phenomenal company. Gary and I, when we first went down there and took the tour, we were just blown away by what they can do. And, I mean, they can make stuff out of just raw steel for what you need out in the oil and gas industry. They can keep you up and running, and that's what they do. If it has to do with the wellhead, this is the company, J&W Services, Lindco Distributors. And another thing down in the Permian Basin you need is lots of car washes, because for some reason you got to wash your vehicle all the time. And Mighty Wash is all over the Permian Basin, all the way up into eastern New Mexico. It's a Lubbock-owned company, Mighty Wash, and they take care of the Permian Basin. So, and they're the Texas Tech car wash too, so make them your car wash. All right, well, that was absolutely fun having David Gaschen. Who would have ever – here we've had David Cho, the maestro of the Lubbock Symphony Orchestra, and now the opera singer, David Gaschen, and we've had more fun.
We really have. And, you know, you think it's outside our comfort zone, but both those guys just made it so easy to sit and visit with them. So
I'm sure there's opera singers that you and I would struggle with.
Well, I was going to ask David. Oh, we got Jerry. Hey,
Jerry Gray, man, I miss seeing you, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, I'm great. How you guys doing?
We're good. We can't. I know you can't see us, but we can see you.
We're still really nice looking, Jerry. You remember that, don't you?
We've gotten better looking.
Hey, Jerry, guys. I'm going to tell you how sharp you are. 9 out of 10 people that zoom in, they're on the show. We got to walk them through the audio and da-da, and here you are just right off the bat.
Oh, trust me, that our COVID years taught us how to do all this stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
This is how you coached for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, we coached like this for about 6 months.
Oh, wow. That had to be tough, because you're one of those hands-on guys. I mean, you like to be with the guys.
What's funny is that, you know, it was tough navigating at the beginning, but then it kind of kicked me back to when I was a player, because as a player, we really never had an off season with the other players. We only had to show up one time in the off season, and then we went back home and then showed up for training camp. So it was something that I was familiar with. I didn't panic. Our guys worked out. We did some good things that, you know, we kind of competed individually to where we talked group, and then we showed each other the group workout with, you know, individual guys. So that let us know if they're working out or not. Well,
you talk about back home. Do you ever come back home? Do you ever come to Lubbock?
Yeah, we actually, Sherry's dad still lives there, so we're probably going to get a chance to come back there this summer.
Okay. Now, how's Mr. Lucky? Is he doing good?
Yeah, he's doing good. He's living, by himself. Sherry's brother checks on him every now and then, but he's doing really good.
Good. Well, yeah, you usually come in July. We want to see you when you come to town.
I got you.
We want to hang out with you.
We'll do that. Let's go play around over at Tech.
We'll do it. We'll play at the Rawls. That'd be fun.
We'll do it. Just give us about 30 minutes notice, and we'll be ready.
Hey, I was at your alma mater last night. I was over at Estacada doing a basketball game.
How are they doing in basketball?
They're good. They won their district. Their district's not very good, but they're really good. They're just missing a big guy, but man, they got guys that can play. They're so talented. And funny thing, Jerry, most of the guys that are playing basketball that are starting for them right now have signed. Did Jerry leave us? Have signed football scholarships.
Oh, okay.
They're football players, and they're really good basketball players.
Go over there and play basketball.
Yeah, and
got you.
That helps. They're all their stuff. Well, you're at Atlanta now. How do you like it being in Atlanta?
Well, this is the first time ever coaching down south, so we got a chance to, come down and support Arthur Smith, who we had coached with. He was actually my quality control when I was in Tennessee in 11, 12, and 13. And then, of course, you got the head job. I got a chance. I'd been in Minnesota, been at Green Bay, and then came down here, support him. Of course, again, football is crazy because we get a chance to. They went 7-10. We lost 5 games by a total of 16 points. That's just how close the NFL is. But now get a chance to stay with Raheem Morris, who is he had been here with Kyle Shanahan and all those guys before they actually dispersed, and then he was here with DQ. DQ, of course, Cowboys. Now he's going to be in Washington. But Raheem actually went to the Rams, won a Super Bowl over there with them as their D coordinator. Now he's back here.
All right. Now, you just said you're with the old regime. They leave. Isn't it a little unusual for a guy to hold over with the new in college football it happens, but in pro football you think the new guy'd bring in a whole new bunch of guys, but you got held over. Did the owner making keep you?
No. To me, I think it was Raheem's choice. I talked with the general manager. It was Raheem's choice, and I guess I really don't know how it all transpired. I know our guys played pretty good. We had just gotten a free agent, which is kind of rare that you get a free agent from another team and then they make all pro. We got Jesse Bates over here from Cincinnati. First time ever making all pro at one of the safeties, and, was, I think, second in the NFL in interceptions. So, looking at that, we were in the top 5 again in pass defense. Just about every place we've ever been, we've had that. So I think Raheem recognized that, got a chance to talk to the people around the organization, and I got a chance to stay.
Well, Jerry, and I that question Gary asked, I figured you're so respected in the NFL. I thought the owner might say, "You're keeping Jerry Gray. I don't care what you do. You're keeping Jerry Gray." But because you've had a great career coaching, and your defensive backfields and your defenses have just been leaders in
everywhere.
The NFL. Yeah,
everywhere you go.
I've been blessed. Every place we've been, to have just about coached an all-pro guy either in the first or second year. Like when I got to Green Bay, Jair Alexander, corner, he was a first-round pick, but he was just trying to find himself. We kind of set goals and stuff like that. In his first year, he made all-pro as a corner. Then he came back and made it again his third year because he got hurt his second year, so he probably would have made it 3 years in a row. And then coming over here, you got Jesse Bates, like I mentioned. Before that in Minnesota, had Harrison Smith and Xavier Rhodes. And before that, like I said, I've coached a lot of really, really good football players, but it's the mental part that a lot of people forget, how to get you to the next level. It's not just all athletic ability.
Are you still using Hot Wheels as motivation?
Yes, sir.
How many Hot Wheels you give away?
What's funny is I think they cost $1. So any player in the league can go buy a handful of Hot Wheels, but in order to get it as a gift of something that you can do, it means way more than just going out and buying it.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's great.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Hey, what's your title now? What do they call you?
I'm the assistant head coach.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I like it. That's a good title.
And that's a nice step. And I know, Jerry, you have such a desire to be a head coach in the NFL. And, of course, for Gary and I and our friends down here in Lubbock, we think you should be a head coach, that you have when you've talked to us, when you've brought us up there on trips, Gary and I are just amazed with your vast knowledge of the NFL in general and football in general. You're an amazing guy.
Well, thank you, guys. Again, I've been around a lot of amazing guys before I actually got to this level, and I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot from John Robinson, and Steve Schaefer was the secondary guy. I learned a lot from just different guys. Joe Gibbs on his staff. So everybody does something different. Pete Carroll on his staff, and you can do it, but then you have to be able to make it your own. And I've kind of done that. You take a piece here, a piece there, and, you learn everywhere you go. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing the same thing here, learning from Raheem, because I haven't been around any of the Rams system. So I'll get a chance to kind of figure out what their system is. It's a knockoff of the 49ers system. So now you get a chance to see, okay, what are they really doing over there that gives you the insight? When you watch film, you think until you really get around someone and they'll tell you what they're actually doing day to day.
Let me ask you something. You talk about all these different systems and the way they do things. Those are all really important, and I know that they are. But what makes the difference in these teams that are so successful, the spirit that they have or the energy that they have? I know that you know that. You know that's what it takes to be the best in the business, don't you?
Well, number one, I think you have to have a great culture. When you look at, the 49ers, you look at Kansas City, the culture is set. It was set before Mahomes got there. And then it just takes off when Mahomes, it just keeps going. You look at Andy Reid, he pretty much had the same culture probably when he was at Philly. That's why they were winning there. So he just took the Philadelphia Eagles, put it in Kansas City. He has great coaches around him. And then you got great players. And then, there is no perfect call. We all know that. But the players have to be able to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do in that particular time. So if Andy makes a call, or if the D coordinator makes a call, now the player has to be able to take that call, figure it out, go out there in about 30 seconds and then execute it. Same thing in the 49ers. You look at, most people say, well, how can a rookie, a Mr. Irrelevant quarterback be in the NFC Championship game and now in the Super Bowl? They got a great system. They got great coaches over there. Anthony Lynn is over there.
Yeah.
We know a Texas Tech guy, but he was also a head coach. He's also been a coordinator. They got other people over there that are really, really good, that have been ex-coordinators, and then they're position coaches. So you have to have the best of the best, not just players, but coaches, and then being able to figure out what they can do and then let them go do it.
All right, y'all didn't play either one of them this year, I don't think, did you?
No, we didn't.
Okay. Do you have a gut feel on the game tomorrow? You pay enough attention to Kansas City and San Francisco to say, well,
I mean, like I played San Francisco way more than Kansas City, because when you're in the NFC, we played San Francisco 2 years in a row in the playoffs. But the thing that you see is that when you look at their staffs, they're really good. Andy Reid's probably one of the most solid guys you ever want to be around. You look at Shanahan. If you know his coaching tree, his dad was one of the best head coaches around under Bill Walsh. And so you're really good there. Their quarterbacks, we know what Patrick Mahomes can do. Probably the best quarterback in the league right now. This guy can take a play, and then all of a sudden when it breaks down, he knows how to improvise. And that's what a lot of guys want to do. And if you took a look at that back, when Vince Young, think about Vince Young and a Patrick Mahomes. I say that because Vince Young couldn't play when he was playing. But if you'd have put Vince Young today with a guy like Andy Reid, he could take off and run anytime you get ready and make those plays. That's coaching, So when you look at Patrick Mahomes, not only is he really good, he's good around the head coach like Andy that lets him improvise, because a lot of guys didn't have that chance. And I think you've seen a little bit of that with the quarterback from the 49ers. I watched that championship game. First half, it looked like Detroit was killing them. Then the second half, they made a great adjustment, and the quarterback started running, which you really never see a 49er quarterback run. And all of a sudden, they start making plays. So that told me that the young kid was actually improvising on the run and said, hey, look, I'm going to go make plays with my leg, which put pressure on the coverage, and you can make plays in the air also.
Now, what you just said, Jerry, that description is what I was talking about a minute ago that Gary and I have heard many times, is your analysis of what's going on and how to be the best. And that is excellent. And that's what a head coach needs. What you just did, the ability to be able to see that. And you said let the guy play. Let the guy go make plays. I mean,
yep.
That's the way you got to do it. I don't know what's wrong with the Dallas Cowboys. I blame Dak Prescott. I'm probably wrong in doing that. But I get so tired of watching Dak, and I don't know what maybe it's Jerry Jones. It's his fault. I don't know. But the Cowboys just cannot get it done. They can't get it finished.
Well, I put it like this. If I wasn't in the NFL, and I don't know what our schedule's going to be like, I would probably give you way more insight. But because, again, all of a sudden, if I give this insight, it comes out, we got to play the Cowboys. It'll be a bunch of locker room stuff. And you don't want to do that. But, like I said, I growing up in Texas, I was a Cowboy fan. I understand. I was around the Tony Darsetts and people like that when they did get it done, and the Roger Staubachs. So you understand what you look for. It's like the Pittsburgh Steelers. Everybody expects for them guys to be in the Super Bowl every year because they set the culture there. Yeah. And then everybody expects that. So I think, again, those are the little things that you see that's missing when you look at the staffs of everybody else and then the players. Take a look and see if the players have freedom to do things compared to the system does things. And I think that's what separates the good ones from the great ones.
Well, and when you're talking about the players able to do things, with the Cowboys, it might be coaches able to do things and do all that they want to do without being –
that Jerry Jones riding herd on them.
Yeah. So that's just my thought.
And we can talk about that when you come to town when we're not on a microphone.
Exactly.
and just because I'm telling you, it's so frustrating. We were picking our family did a little deal, sending the thing, who you picking in the game, Chiefs or the 49ers? Well, we get about 4 or 5 down there. Somebody says the Cowboys. And I'm like, snap out of it.
Yeah, I can believe that. Trust me, that there's a lot of diehard people in Texas.
I know it.
Well, without a doubt. You didn't. I don't know if you completely answered the 49ers and the Chiefs Sunday tomorrow. If you just had to pick one, I would lean toward. And we've only got like a minute left, Jerry.
Man, it's tough because, like I said, I watched. I think a lot of people are going to go with Kansas City because they've been there, and it's like no big deal. Hey, look, we've been there 4 times. And so you get a chance, and that's comfort. But I also look at the 49ers, and I watched how they came back in 2 football games this year already in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you really can't count anyone out. And trust me, at the end of the game, one of those 2 quarterbacks is going to make some plays, and one of them is going to not make a play. And all of a sudden, that's how the game is going to end. And the sad part is it's going to end on mistakes.